if you do not know your squat stance, or if you're not sure the one that you've been using is the right one for you, get into a pelvic rock, find the appropriate squat stance, because if you're trying to squat with a squat stance that is not specific to you, you could be shearing off bone prematurely, either in your knees, your hips, your low back, all the above. So make sure that when you're doing a squat, it is pain-free and you can get your hip crease below your knee. One way to find it is with a pelvic rock. What you do is you start off in this quadruped position, and my goal is to get my hip crease below my knee without my spine coming out of a neutral position. This is neutral, this is not, this is not, this is neutral. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have my hips right over my knees and my shoulders right over my hands, and I'm going to push myself back. I'm going to see if I can get my hips below my knees. Now I can do this because my hips allow it. Let's pretend that I do not have a hip socket that allows me to do that. So it's going to look something like this. I'm going to come back, and it's going to come undone before I get down there, okay? I didn't quite make it. My spine came out of neutral. So what I'm going to do, take my feet out a little bit wider, since I couldn't get neutral in the first position, and I'm going to push my hips back from there, all right? Now I've got my hip crease below my knee. My spine is still neutral. So what I'm going to do, show you this way. So I started right here, knees underneath the hips. That didn't work. So I moved them out a little bit wider, and then I was able to get my hip crease below my knees. So what I want to do from here is just basically get my toes on the ground and just kind of push myself back into that squat position that I just found. Now, assuming that I have loosened up all my soft tissue, like if my calves are tight, my quads, my hams, my hips, then this should be a comfortable, pain-free position. And by comfortable, I mean there shouldn't be any pain involved when you're getting into this squat stance. Ankle mobility. If your ankle mobility is crap, it's going to really prevent you from getting into a good, healthy squat. And it's also going to be detrimental to your ankle, knee, and hip health. So we're going to try to work on making our ankles move a little bit better, okay? So let's go ahead and do that. What we're going to do is it's called a knee touch, I think is what it's called. I don't know. You can look it up. So I'm going to roll up my leg here. So what you're going to do is start with your toe right up next to your wall, chair, or small animal. My box is a little bit short, but you get the point. So I'm going to grab the ground with my foot. This is the important part. If you watch the squat sit video, we talked about heel, heel, heel has to stay down. Same thing here. Keep your heel down. If you got to glue it down, then glue it down. I'm going through puberty. So right here, we're just going to grab the ground with my foot, and we're going to push that knee as far forward as we can. Ideally, we want that knee to tap the wall in front of us, okay? So I'm just going to do that 10 times. Now what's going to happen is as you push your knee forward, you're probably going to feel, you might feel tightness here in your calf. We got to stretch that out to get into a better ankle position, right? So same thing, you might feel it right here. We might have to do some of these bad boys where we're sitting on our feet like that and lean them back like this to help stretch out our ankle flexibility right there, okay? So if you can do it with your toe up next to the box or the wall, your animal, move it back a little bit, grab the ground with your foot, same thing. I don't want to do this standing up. This doesn't require any weighted activity here. We just want to make sure that it's just a stretch, guys. It's just a stretch. So start right here, knee over the ankle, push that knee forward, right? Do about 10 there, okay? And basically just keep scooting it back until you find your limit. Mine's right about there. I can't get any further without, watch this, my knee coming up. That was pretty subtle. I don't know if you can see that from that far away, but I can put my whole finger under there now, right? I don't want that to happen. I'm going to be able to smash it so I can't put my finger under there, right? Just like that, pushing it, just like this. And this is going to help me get into a much better squat position, okay? So go ahead and do that. Go find a wall. If ankle mobility was your issue when you were doing that squat sit, then this is definitely where you want to start, okay? Let's go knock it out. Keeping your midline nice and tight. When I'm talking about midline, I'm talking about abs and lats and your glutes, right? If you can keep those three things activated during your squat, your squats are going to be pretty stinking awesome. So we got to make sure they're fired up. The abs, easiest way to do that is just to suck your belly button in. Your glutes is just to kind of just squeeze them the entire time you're getting after it. And your lats are a little bit more difficult, and we're going to go over that here in just a little bit. And this one's really about making sure all three of these are working together at the same time. So let me show you a couple of things you can do to help make your, the big three is what I like to call them, the glutes, the lats, and the abs, work together for your benefit to make your squats absolutely fantastic. So the first one is the easiest of the three, and it's just called a recliner. It's just one that we like to do around here. So your abs end here, start here in your pubic bone. Their only job in life is to contract like this, right? I mean, that's not true. They help with breathing, but that's another conversation. So anyway, you hunch over, and then you just lean back. Hence the name recliners, right? You just lean back, lean back, lean back until you feel your abs really activated and engaged, and hold it there for about 30 seconds, right? So I'm just pre-engaging my abs, okay? The next thing you're going to do to help wake up your glutes, and this one's very easy, it's just called a kickback. So what you do is you stand here, suck your belly button in, and get it just about as tight as you can like you did the recliners. And what you're going to do is you're just going to kick this leg back, right? Notice my hip and my body, they don't do this, right? I'm just sucking my belly button in, kicking my leg back. You should feel your glute. If you need to really feel it, just hold it back there, right? We're just trying to get our glute to get really, really fired up here. And the abs at the same time, okay? So that's 1, 2, 3. There's 1 and 2. Sorry, I said 3. We haven't got to lats yet. So here's 1 and 2, abs and glutes. If I can get those two to work together, we're doing some good things. Switch, same thing on the other leg. Kick it back, suck the belly button in. If you got to sit there and drum on your stomach to make sure that you're using your abs, nothing wrong with that. Go for it. Okay, the next one is your lats. Lats are a little bit more difficult, but it's not a muscle group that a lot of people use in the daily because we live in the 21st century and we like to live right here, right? We're all developing the Quasimodo syndrome one day at a time. But not you. You're fixing your squat. So here's what we're going to do to help get our lats engaged. This one, the easiest thing that I have found to help people just get used to using their lats, start with your arms off to the side, right, like you're making a T. And what you're going to do is think about turning your palms up to the ceiling, suck the belly button in, squeeze your glutes, stick your chest out, right? So in a nutshell, this is what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get my glutes, my abs, and my lats to fire up. What your abs do is they help pull everything back and down. Another way to do this is squeeze the glutes, suck the belly button in, bring your shoulders up, back, and down, right? Now you see my head's in this turkey vulture position, so I'm going to bring it back a little bit. And this is all three of those muscles engaged at the same time. This is extremely hard to hold while you're doing anything, but especially standing here. So it might not be a bad idea just to kind of get used to the feeling just like that, right? Lats, abs, and glutes. So once you have a relative level of comfort with that, here's what you want to do. You want to incorporate it into your squat. If you can get these three muscles to work during your squat, and your knees to go where they're supposed to go, and your feet flat, you've just conquered all 5 big things you need to have a perfect squat. So here we go. Got our glutes tight, my feet flat, suck my belly button in, my shoulder blades go up, back, and down. Move my head right here. And what I'm going to do is, don't worry about what your hands are doing. You know, you don't want to end up with this Ricky Bobby situation. Just let it be. Just whatever they do is whatever they do. Abs tight, lats on fire, glutes on fire. I'm going to come down. Now notice, I'm leaning over, but I'm not letting go of my lats, my abs, and my glutes. I just let go. So keep everything back and down. If you got to reset between every single round, reset. There's nothing wrong with that. Keeping everything tight, feet are flat, knees are going off to the side, abs are tight, glutes are tight, dig through my heels, come back up, right? Kind of got in that turkey vulture position. So same thing, keeping everything nice and tight. You can see this is not an easy task to do. It's easy to forget about one thing, and that's okay, you're going to. A squat is always a work in progress. You're always going to be working on your squat to make it better because there's always something that can be making it better. But the big 3, the lats, abs, and the glutes, are probably 3 of the most important things you need to remember when you're doing your squats. If you get those 3, you'll cover a multitude of sins everywhere else. But feet flat, knees off to the side, abs tight, glutes tight, shoulder blades back and down. I got everything set up, ready to go. Come on down, big breath. Dig my heels in, okay? So, if you can put all of those things together, you're going to be really setting yourself up to live a life with pain-free squats, which means that whenever you fall, because you will, regardless of age, falling is one of the constants in life, you're going to be able to get up on your own accord, assuming you didn't break anything. We're not wishing that on anybody. But anyway, if you can get all these muscles working together, your lats, your abs, and your glutes, you're going to be a lot easier to keep your knees off to the side, your feet flat, and it's going to be easier to use your hamstrings and your glutes to bring you out of that squat. It's going to keep your joints safe. It's going to help you increase flexibility and increase your strength and increase your coordination. Just all the good things happen, gang. So, go give that a whirl. This is definitely the hardest tip that we've offered so far, so don't get frustrated if you can't get it right away. This takes time. The body has learned a lot of bad habits if you've just been living in the 21st century position, this Quasimodo position, for a long time. So don't get frustrated if you don't get it the first time. It's going to take several reps and several attempts to make it happen. So just practice it every single day. Make all the good things happen, guys. Live a pain-free squat life. So what we're going to talk about now is if you have trouble getting up out of the bottom of the squat and you only feel it in your knees or the front of your legs. A squat should be felt in the hamstrings and the glutes, your butt and the back of your legs. So I'm going to show you a couple things you can do to help your body relearn how to move well. All right. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to use our handy dandy box again because box is good. Box is great. Box is helpful. So if your squats look like this, you're coming down. I'm going to bring these bad boys up. If you're going down into your squat and you end up doing this number right here and you are just 100% on your toes the whole time, and you tap the box and you come back up, but you feel the weight of your body right here on the ball of your feet, we got to change that. Heels, heels, heels are the magic recipe to everything. So as you're going down, let's see if we can just leave these up here. So as you're going down, I want you to get a box, get in front of it, sit down all the way, and then when you stand up, you don't want your legs out here like this, right? This is an incredibly difficult squat, even for people who've been squatting for a long time. So what the problem with this is that this is a lot of lever arm here, right? So what I really got to do is just and make that happen. Now, I can do it, but I didn't play the game for a little bit. What you want to do is have your heels right up next to that box. You want to make sure that you are digging through your heels. If you got to pick up your toes for now to make this happen, that's okay. So dig your heels in, push, whoops, I fell. Push your heels to the ground, right? Just like that. Push your heels through the ground. And that's what we're going to do. You can bring it out a little bit to make it more challenging. Push your heels to the ground, right? Just like that. So as you get stronger, you should be able to walk your feet out a little bit further away until you get to a point to where physics is just not going to work anymore. So what you're going to do is just start here, dig through your heels, come on up like that, right? Move it out. Try it again, dig through your heels, stand back up. Now ideally what we're going to get is hamstring and glute activation. We want to take the pressure off of our quads and put it in the hamstrings and the glutes. And that's because our quads, if they're working exclusively, you're going to feel it in your knee. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. This is not the muscle that should be moving you out of the bottom of the squat. It should be the hamstrings and the glutes. Now if this gets really easy, you see that my hip is in line with my knee. Ideally, if I'm doing a squat, especially if you have a very good worn-in sofa, you're probably not going to be sitting up like this. You're probably going to be really leaning back there, sinking into that sofa, right? So the next step is to do the same thing. Start with the heels like this, up next to the box, stand up like that, right? Then move it out, stand up just like that. And if that gets really easy, find an even lower surface and get like that. This is for the true couch aficionados here. Hips are well below the knees. This is promoting a lot of flexibility out of my hip, knees, and ankles, which is perfect. That's what we want. Get right there, dig those heels in, come back down. Move it out. Dig those heels in, come back down, right? So if you're having trouble, if you're having trouble getting your quads to cooperate with you while you're doing your squats, i.e. you're trying to get them to not work as much so that your knees don't get blown up, then go to a box, right? It's going to help you learn how to use your hamstrings and your glutes. It's going to save your back, going to save your knees, and maybe your life. Okay? So go grab a box, make some good things happen. we're gonna focus on really how to get your knees to go in the right direction when you're squatting. If your knees are caving in, it's just gonna cause a whole plethora of issues down the road. So don't let them do that. The other thing is make sure that once you have progressed from the box, if you haven't watched that video, be sure to go do that. Then you want to be able to do it freestanding without any box, without anything to help you stay balanced. You should be able to do it by yourself on your own accord. So we're going to go over how to do that right now. Show it from the side. So the donkey squat is to help you learn how to use your hips to keep your knees going the same direction as your toes. Okay? What you do is you grab your shoelaces, you make your elbows stay on the inside of your knees, you bring your bottom down, and then you bring your bottom up, and then you bring your bottom down, and then you bring your bottom up, okay? And you see what I'm doing? My elbows are forcing my knees to go off to the side, okay? If you have poor glute activation, you got a lot of tightness in and around your hips, this is gonna help you get into a better position, okay? So from the side, right here, I'm gonna grab my shoelaces, I'm gonna bring my hips down, knees are going off to the side of my elbows, I'm gonna bring my hips up, I'm gonna bring my hips down, I'm gonna bring my hips up. You can see how awkward this would be if you're in a public place or if you are self-conscious of people judging you while you're at your gym. We don't judge people here, so you're welcome to do it whenever you want when you're in our facility. However, if you are not wanting to do this and be the recipient of a lot of ridicule, then you might want to do it in your own home. Joke's on them though, because you're making your squats better. So after you do that, then we want to try to put it together, do it without any help, on our own, without a box, without donkey squats or anything like that. So what you're gonna do is just like this, grab the ground with your feet, sink down as low as you can, make sure the knees are going off to the side, stand back up, right? This is what we want our knees to do. Knees to go the exact same direction that our toes are pointing, okay? Here's another angle right here. Feet are facing just about straight ahead, not quite, but like that. Making all those good things happen, okay? On the side, off to the side like that, boom. So if I've worked on my ankle mobility like we did in the other video, and I've worked on getting my hamstrings and my glutes fired up to get me out of the bottom of the squat, I should be able to hit these positions. I don't know if you can see my knee here. So you can see my knee here, foot is flat. Knee is going the same direction as my toes. My knee is going as far forward as it needs to go. And I'm going to make sure that I'm right here. I'm going to dig through my heel, stand up. All the good things, gang. It's very, very important that you make sure that your knee is indeed not caving in. It's just going to tear it up if you let it. So don't do that, right?